Alright, welcome back to Flightsim 2020 and welcome to another video in the incredible high-performance group H160. As you can see, the helicopter's all fired up. We're in the executive version, and what we shouldn't actually have at the moment is any passengers, because where do I do this again? Somewhere in here. Here. So we are parked on the ramp here at, wow, I've got 0% fuel. That's interesting. We are parked on the ramp here at East London Airport in the Eastern Cape in South Africa, and we are going to be doing a private charter. Not a particularly long flight. It's about 40 minutes probably worth of flying, and so we are flying out to East London. We're flying from East London, and we're going to pick up some charter passengers in the small town of Stutterheim, and we're then flying them out to Fairfield Farm, which is there. I think the closest city for that would be Tarkastad, I think. But it's a farm out there, which is, I think they've got like some accommodation and things like that, but it's like an organic farm, and I think you can go visit or at least stay there or something. But anyway, we're going to take them out to this farm. For whatever they want to do there is completely up to them, but we have been hired to get them there, and then we shall return to East London Airport. So everything's prepped and we are pretty much ready to go. So our departure today takes us directly behind us, which is where the runway is. So I think we will just follow this taxiway and then depart straight over and perpendicular pretty much to the runway. So let's go ahead and lift up here nice and gently. These cars. Right, so there's the runway in front of us. Whoa, all over the place today. Okay, so let's just kind of check that everything is clear, and then we can pretty much park straight out. No one coming into land. Oh wow, the apron is completely empty as well. Okay, let's make our way out of here. I don't know what it is recently with the H160, but it feels like the kind of assistance of the, geez, what do you call it now? The kind of stability augmentation systems, especially on the anti-torque pedals, are fighting me completely. Right now I've got my rudders hard to the right and I can't steer to the right, and changing them does almost nothing. So if we go fully now to the left, and then it wants to turn. So I don't know, it feels like there's some sort of assistance there that's fighting me that I didn't notice before. So I probably actually need to check through all of the settings. So it's not too big a deal when you're kind of cruising along like this. Oh, I did put the gear up. But like when you're on the apron, so like now I just want my nose to the right, and that's full right rudder, and we're not really, okay, obviously we're going a bit fast for that to work, but even on the ground it's like kind of fancy, and you have to put in a lot of kind of pressure into the pedals for it to actually respond. So I wonder if in one of the updates maybe FlightSim turned back on some of the helicopter assistance stuff. But I haven't noticed it in the 145. It's only in the 160 that I've been noticing this. Perhaps see, this all looks correct, realistic. So I'm not sure. Anyway. Right, so we've got about 15 minutes roughly to Stutterheim. We've arranged for the passengers to meet us at a little airstrip just kind of north-ish of the town. So we'll land next to the hangars there, pick up our passengers, and then fly them off to Fairfield Farm. So pretty simple today, but we'll be covering a nice little piece of the Eastern Cape here. I can probably level out a bit here. We're at 1650. Some sort of mall here. Another one on the other side. I don't actually know the malls in East London well enough to say which one that is. Or the other one. We're cruising along just below 140 knots. That's probably 136-ish knots. What's this little building down here? Looks kind of interesting. And now we're pretty much out of the city of East London, and so around here is mostly, it's quite a bit of farmland, and I think there's a chunk of forestry as well, which is probably what we're looking at now. And I'm aware that we're slowly climbing as well, which is fine because we need to kind of rise with the terrain as it does. You'll see we're going to get a little bit into the mountains, or into the hills, I suppose, around Stutterheim, and then definitely into the mountains as we head out towards the farm. Yeah, just over 10 minutes to go, so a nice, fairly short flight to go and pick these passengers up. Whereabouts is the road? Oh, the road from Stutterheim to East London is off to our right. So let's maybe see if we head this way a bit, we can pick up that road into the town. Yeah, weather looks fine. There's a bit of clouds, but nothing that's low enough or scary enough to kind of interfere with our flight today. this, I think, is all farmland. That's definitely farmland over there. A lot of kind of like natural grazing of animals in this area. So meaning it's not like all feedlots and things like that. You've just got open fields where they have cattle and sheep and things. But I think quite a bit of this is probably forestry as well. So there's some farmland down there. Or maybe it's just seeing these open areas and putting some trees in them where it's probably just like grass and like small shrubs and things in reality. You see the road there, it's just off to our right. Yeah, I think it's just on the other side there. That's fine. I'm gonna pick up the road kind of there at that intersection. So where whatever the grey road is comes together with the kind of reddy orange one. Okay, about 8 minutes to go. We're cruising along nicely, just under 140 knots. Now, feels like we're pretty much the same altitude above the ground. So you can see how the terrain does gradually rise, because we're now at 2,300. We don't feel any higher than we did when last time we checked and we were just over 1,600. In terms of radio, we're what? 900 feet-ish? It's going to change quite a bit as we go through these valleys here. So there you'll see. Increases quite a bit, and then it's going to drop all the way down to about 440 was probably the lowest. Right, it's actually a little bit windy, and we've got a bit of a tailwind and some wind coming from the right-hand side, which is why we're kind of crabbing a little bit. No, not the right, the left, my bad. Oh, is this a river? That grey line? No, man, the rivers must be blue. I don't know what that grey line is. It looks like it's matching that river. I think that's the highway just on that ridge there. There we can pretty much see the highway. Other side, this little settlement. Kind of looks like an L or something. Interesting. Okay, this then is the highway, or the main road between East London and Stutterheim. Which looks about right. That is the railway line that crosses underneath there. Goes under that bridge. Dam up ahead. Don't know what this little area is, but there's a train station here. I think it might be more cargo than passengers. Probably timber in this area. Right, so we're not too far from Stutterheim. Pretty big clouds out there on the horizon. And on those hills up ahead is definitely forestry. This is pretty much all farming out here. And then forestry on the hills out there in front of us. This looks like some sort of mining operation. Very much looks like mining. Cross over the river here, and then we're pretty much into the town. And have quite a lot of hills to navigate. It actually looks like the weather is starting to close into the mountains there, so we might actually have some weather to deal with. So we've got to go out that way. Pretty much exactly where those clouds are looking like they're starting to make things a little hazy. Yeah, that is the town up ahead. So I'm gonna gradually start slowing down as well. This out here. See if I recognize anything. I think this is like the fire station. Maybe it's this. That's the cemetery. I think that's like the fire station or something like that. It's somewhere around here. There's like a driving testing center there. School, fields, hospital. And then here's like the kind of country club with the golf course down here and some fields out there. And we're going a little bit to the other side. Now this is the school underneath us here. High school. Golf course on the other side of the road from the school. There's like courts. Oh, that's the country club's tennis courts, and then 2 fields. Right, and we come over here over this kind of high density housing area, smaller houses over this farm, and I actually see the airstrip? Yes, I can. It's a little bit to our left. Gear down. Turn off the parking brake so we can roll along if we need. I don't know who actually owns this airport in reality. I think it's a private strip. So I don't know if you could just fly in here in reality. Probably not. Okay, we can just go a little forward here. And everything looks good. So let's just gently put it down. Right, then we can come up here and go to idle. And then open up the door, like so. We can then board our passengers. So we're gonna have a full load of passengers, and I thought I could put like baggage and stuff in here too. Maybe not. Interesting. If we go here, yeah, I don't really have much payload. So let's see. Is there anything at the back now? Oh, we don't really see the storage. So we've just got our 4 passengers. Let's close the door. They look very much like they're going to a farm. It's perfect. Okay, go to flight and flight. Give that a chance to stabilize. And then we're pretty much going to depart straight out into our left. Kind of head along the mountain range there. Okay, everything looks good. Oh my word, what is... I've put the payload on and it's attached a bunch of things to the aircraft. I didn't think of that. Whoops. I'll switch to an outside view in a bit and we can have a look at that. Just saw it on the shadow there as we were taking off. Okay, gear coming up. definitely feel the extra weight. I think what I saw was the camera, the Cineflex camera system. Alright, let's jump outside. Oh, it's not. Oh, maybe it was just the shadow of the nose gear that just looked a bit funny because it's kind of early morning. So the shadow was a bit longer and I thought it was the camera. Yeah, I don't actually think you can attach those to this aircraft yet. See, it does have... Yeah, I think those are going to come later. That's quite funny. Belly tank. Hover pump. So that's going to be for firefighting, so I'm assuming we're going to get that. They have said that there will be an action pack coming for this aircraft at some point, like there was for the 145, which gave you the search and rescue and HAMS missions and stuff, which is going to be very cool. So yes, false alarm, I did not attach anything new to the aircraft. You can probably actually turn off the landing lights. I'm trying to just see if there's searchlight. Okay, it doesn't appear to be on. Yeah, nothing there. Okay, so we haven't attached anything to the aircraft. Right, we've got to go along this ridge and then we've got to turn right. We'll probably go through that gap. Not that one, but that one over there. We're going to be dealing with some pretty mountainous terrain. Oh yes, I actually said I was going to turn off the landing lights. Now, there's a way to do that from here in reality, but I'd have to bind that to the HOTAS. So what I can do is just do it from here. No, it's this under lights. Turn off the landing light. Strobe, position, and anti-collision is exactly what we need. Cool. Close that for now. We are drifting quite significantly. Yeah, we need to kind of go up that way. So let's see, we've got a little bit more power to give it. At 100 knots, just over 100 knots, so not super slow. Coming through 5,000 feet now. Yeah, and it's about 27 minutes. That will come down once we level off here and increase our speed a bit. Like so. So that time will start dropping 25. Probably looking at about 20 minutes once we hit our cruise speed. Down to 23, we're 120 knots, and we're slowly speeding up as we go. Coming up to that 140 knots. Down to 19 minutes to the farm. I know absolutely nothing about this area. I've never been anywhere near this. Also, it just looks like possibly some forestry out that way on the other side of the ridge. This is all just kind of farmland out here. And this also makes me think that there around East London was more forestry, because this is what the fields look like, where they do that kind of natural grazing. Obviously these like fields here are for growing crops, but these big open patches is all the natural grazing with a bit of forest mix in there, but it's not just solid trees all along. That I think is all forestry out there closer to East London Airport. Pretty area. The little farm down there. It's kind of just these little farms like that scattered throughout, and that's pretty much what we're heading out to at Fairfield as well. It's just a little farm like that, which is where our passengers are going. And the terrain is still rising. We're now 5,600 feet and just over 1,000 feet above the terrain below us. It's quite mountainous out that way. We're still kind of like, I don't know if I'd call it a plateau, but we're kind of like on the top here, and it gets really steep as you get to the edge on that side. So this is all still kind of fairly smooth out here. Although still maybe a bit of a pain to do like crop farming on this kind of terrain. Okay, 17 minutes. I'm also thinking if we should actually fly all the way back to East London. I think I might end it at the farm, and then we could have a second video where we take the passengers back to East London or possibly somewhere else. So I think I might do that instead, rather than just flying all the way back. Perhaps they're only there for a couple of days, and we just leave the helicopter there. I guess in reality we would have to stay there as well, which means we get to experience Fairfield Farm 2, which would be kind of cool. And then after a couple of days we can bring the passengers back. Terrain's rising again, and it's about to get even steeper up ahead. The wind is really pushing me. clouds are starting to become a bit of a concern, but I think they're still going to be far enough away. They aren't going to interfere with our route, so we should be fine. I'm bleeding off quite a bit of speed here as we're climbing to keep up with the mountains. A pretty big farm down there. Just big in terms of all the buildings and that. But they'll have quite a lot of this land around them as well. Time to go 16 minutes. Probably shouldn't be descending because there's kind of no point. You can imagine for the people who live on these farms what a drive it is. Like if you want to go shopping, I mean Stutterheim doesn't exactly have incredible shopping facilities. It's probably something a little bit closer than East London, but East London is going to be the biggest kind of city nearest to you. I mean, we've been flying for probably 30 minutes, let's say, from East London to here. And we're just going straight. You would have to wind along these kind of narrow roads. So you're probably looking at a good few hours, 3, maybe even 4 hours. You want to go shopping? I'm going to descend now because we're starting to get into the haze of these clouds. Right, so the reason I've picked Fairfield is it's one of the farms at the Sofly, I think it's just called the Sofly Animals Pack or something like that. It's placed some cows on that farm, so we're going to check that out as well as part of this video. But I must say I've actually been a little bit disappointed with the animals scenery from Sofly because it was in one of the Neofly episodes. I think it was episode 10? No, it was later than that. Maybe 12 or 13. Where I flew... Was it the H160? I think it was, actually. No, it was the 222. I flew a 222 and did a rescue mission. I think it actually might have been episode 14 or 15, even later. But in that episode I checked out, we're off the coast of Durban, and I saw a blue whale from the Sofly pack, and the whales kind of sit on the surface of the water, which is a bit weird. And then the other thing I noticed, I was testing something for another video, which I didn't actually end up doing because of this, but out in the Kruger Park, there was a patch that they'd marked with buffaloes and lions, and the buffaloes turned out to be bison, plains bison, which in America they call buffaloes, but you sure as hell do not get those in South Africa. So that was also a bit disappointing. I mean, I'd rather they just take them out, just put the lions there, that's cool, crocodiles and giraffe and elephants. I don't think the Sofly pack actually does giraffe and elephants. Those are kind of the default ones. Put some giraffe and elephants and rhino, lions, leopards, that kind of thing in the Kruger Park, but don't put animals there that don't exist there. Same with, I found panda bears in Australia. So, yeah. I don't know, but I haven't seen any cows yet. So So that's something we're going to check out when we get to Fairfield as well. Now we're really starting to get into the mountain range. As you can see, it's starting to get kind of ragged, and the weather up ahead doesn't look so great. We're starting to get into the haze of the clouds, but now I'm worried with the terrain rising. The clouds are pretty uniform in terms of their ceiling, or the cloud base, should I say. But it's just that the terrain, we're now at almost, well, we're at 6,200 feet. So we are kind of just climbing into the clouds, which is a bit of a concern. Check out these mountains here. So cool. I mean, this must be just spectacular to fly over. I mean, it's cool to fly over this in Flight Simulator, but in reality, this must be just amazing. That patch of cloud that we can see dead ahead, I'm hoping that we get to the farm for that cloud, because otherwise we might have an issue. So we're 8 minutes out. Hopefully it's not other side that cloud, because then, I mean, I guess if we can't make it in, we would have to go all the way back to Stutterheim and tell the passengers that unfortunately their holiday plans or whatever they're doing at Fairfield Farm are no more, which is not. But if the farm's this side of the ridge, we will probably be okay. Still about 8 minutes out, 17.5 nautical miles. Oof. I don't know. I think it might be other side that ridge. At least in the helicopter, I'm a little bit less stressed about like scud running. Because if it does get to the point, I mean, you still have to make the call before it becomes like zero visibility and you can't see the ground at all. But if we got to the point where it's like we can't go forward, we can't go back, we can't descend, we could just land in an open patch here and be fine. Can't do in an aircraft if we were in the Comanche or something like that, or the Kodiak out in this area. Would have way less options. The Comanche and less in the Kodiak. Like the Kodiak, we could probably find a little open patch along the river or something like that. Down there, maybe. There's not much in terms of flat areas out here. So that would still be quite difficult. But I mean, with the helicopter, we could put it down in any of these fields and be fine. It's not ideal, but it is a little safer. Well, we've got a few more options available to us in the helicopter when it comes to that kind of situation. But again, you've still got to then make that call before you get into like absolute zero visibility, because once you lose contact with the ground, then you're not landing, whether you're in a helicopter or in a fixed wing aircraft. So right, we need to climb even more. So what are we? 6,500 feet, 6,300 feet on the altimeter, and the ground's about 1,200 feet below us. So you're still looking at almost 5,000 feet. Which is crazy to think that half an hour ago we were at sea level, and now we're kind of almost at the same level as Johannesburg Airport, which is 5,500. Up ahead, those mountains are going to be even higher than that. Little dam there in that valley. Probably for the animals. Okay, a little bit flatter. So it looks like some dams out there. Okay, 6 minutes out. Wait, did I read that right? Outside temperature is 5 degrees. That's freezing for South Africa. I suppose we are in the mountains, but really? That cold. Let's see. What's the temperature at East London? East London's temperature is currently 19. And it's only 5 degrees up here in the hills. Wow, okay. In case you're wondering, it is still kind of the tail end of summer here. I mean, I'm sitting in Johannesburg sweating because it's so hot here. This is telling me it's 5 degrees. I've got real weather on and all of that. So I find that quite surprising. Because, I mean, we're not that, like I said, here in Joburg we're at 5,500 feet. So we're not at 6'8". It's not enough to drop 20 degrees. Hectic. Unless there's like a cold front coming, which could be what part of all these clouds, or what I mean is, all these clouds could be part of a system like that. But wow, okay. Right, looks like we're going other side the ridge. And probably what happens is we've got a kind of steep drop into the valley on the other side, because the farm is in a valley. So I'm guessing it's just other side this ridge here, and then we kind of drop in into the valley. This looks like a burnt section here. Or is it just forest? It is forest, but it looks kind of dark, so possibly some sections that were burned. I mean, if it was burnt, it looks like it was probably burnt on purpose, because it ends nice and evenly. Okay, 2 minutes out, so yeah, I think I'm right. We're gonna drop down into this valley up ahead. Okay, so with the descent into the valley like this, just need to be conscious to keep the speed up, even if we have to do a bit of an orbit to get to the farm, because we don't want to get into a VRS situation by just dropping down and slowing down to make the farm. Right, I think that is the farm over there, just other side that dam. which the map seems to kind of agree with. I might have to do a bit of an orbit anyway to just check out what we have in terms of landing areas. Yeah, there's a bunch of fields. We probably in reality don't really want to land on that. But I think this side of the road, hopefully there's like a parking lot or something. Kind of closer to the buildings. Oh right, and we should also look out for the cows, I guess, which I think are in those green pastures, if I remember correctly. I mean, they might kind of move around a bit. The whales certainly do.
Warning, terrain. Caution, terrain. Warning, terrain.
Right, I'm well aware of the terrain. Stay over this ridge and we'll do another kind of circle in. Still not sure where I'm going to land. Maybe that green patch in front of the, or in between those two buildings there, because that could be more of a lawn than a pasture. It's kind of small. Okay, let's get the gear down. And again, just keep an eye on the speed as we drop down here. Still don't see any cows. They're supposed to be in these green fields. Oh, there they are. They're spawning in now. See, I'm thinking about this green patch over here. I think that's where we're gonna touch down. Oh wow, the whole thing is full of cows. And that one with no cows there, the smaller one, we're gonna touch down in. Or land in that one. Just got to be careful of this ridge here. Right, wind is coming from behind us. So we need to come in this way. Okay, I kind of actually want to get a closer look at the cows. They don't spawn until you're pretty close, actually. Seems, yeah, that one's kind of walking around. Okay, so the cows are a little bit better than the whales for sure. It's actually quite nice. And this must have been placed, like hand placed by a human, because they're nicely scattered throughout the fields, and you can see there's none in this field here, and then a bunch in each of these little pasture areas. That's actually quite nice. Okay, way more impressed with the cows in this pack than anything else so far. Okay, so we'll go around once more because we want to land on the opposite direction on that patch over there. So we should come in just to the right of that green building and enter kind of from the corner of that that open area. Yeah, giving our passengers a little bit of a sightseeing orbit of Fairfield Farm. little bit too much power to make that turn there. That's what that ping was. Right, so we're coming in pretty much bang into the wind, so that's kind of perfect. Okay, so let's try and keep it nice and smooth. There's kind of a tall tree just in the corner of that field, so I'm gonna try and pass just to the right of that tall tree, and then we'll swing the nose a little bit to the left, or we are kind of on a bit of a hill, so we might actually need to keep the nose exactly where it's facing now so that we don't roll over sideways. And I want to kind of go in between all of those light patches in the field. It's probably where I want to touch down. And basically nose into the opposite corner of the field, pretty much into the wind. We can nose left a little bit, something like that. I'll kind of just translate a little bit to the right. Yeah, it looks kind of flat from the air, but this field is anything but. But I think it's okay for us to land on. Let's just kind of touch down very carefully. And then just balance the cyclic to make sure we don't roll over. If it wants to roll, we're going to go back into the air. Okay, wheels are down. It might lean a bit to the left, but it doesn't feel like it wants to roll over. Right, and we're nice and settled. Neutral on the pedals. Let's turn on the parking brake. And we can go into idle. And I reckon we're probably fine to just shut down here. Let's go in here and turn this off. And we can shut down our engines. Right, so welcome to Fairfield Farm. Let's go and start switching things off. Okay, that's all done. And then last thing to kind of switch off is the batteries. Let's open the door to let our passengers out. Wow. Why does this say 8% fuel? And this says we've got 500 kgs on board. 500 kgs can't be 8%. That bar doesn't look like anywhere near 8%. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Strange. Because yeah, we've got way more than 8%. And there we are, safely arrived with our charter passengers at Fairfield Farm. So I think I'll probably do another video in future where we take our passengers back to somewhere else. Maybe not East London, maybe we'll take them, I mean, probably back to Stutterheim makes the most sense, but we'll see. And then I think I might do some other, probably helicopter flights are the best way to do it, but we should check out some of the other land animals from Sofly, because the whales were not so great. The bison, I didn't actually look at them in that much detail. When I saw they were bison and not actual Cape buffaloes, I kind of stopped bothering about them. But we should definitely check out the other land animals, see if we can find some. I know there's leopards and lions. Those are probably going to be fairly difficult to spot from the helicopter. I wonder if it's going to be like 1 or 2 leopards. I hope it's not like 15, 16 or like the cows, because that would be a bit unrealistic. But anyway, that is for future videos. For now, this is going to bring us to the end of this charter flight in the H160 executive version. If you did enjoy the video, you know what to do down below, and I'll see you in the next one.